team, welcome to hopefully a short PowerPoint tutorial. And again, I know you all are using a lot of different programs, maybe Google Slides, Canva. That's perfectly fine. The skills that are in here are going to carry over to other platforms. It might be a little bit different on how to do it, but honestly, most of the business world works in Microsoft. And so you may want to start kind of getting comfortable with these things, even if you primarily use something else. I know you can download into PowerPoint and then maybe make modifications if you like. Again, you don't have this shell that I have. I just created it with some random things. You can create your own if you want. The big thing you want to leverage is on the case overview, where it's talking about the professional presentation. Those are kind of all that has all the pieces that you want to have in there. This is just kind of a general overview on things that I think might be helpful. And then, yeah, like hopefully it's helpful. Again, there's a lot in here, so feel free to get as creative as possible. And you might want to theme it based upon like what company you're working with or something like that. But it's entirely up to you. We want to give you some freedom. So one thing we want to always kind of start with that a lot of people don't know is on the View tab. And again, this might look a little bit different for Word and Mac people. Again, just make sure this thing is full screen so you can see everything. And you may have to do a little searching if you're on a Mac, but it's pretty close. If you can't have any issues, just let, or if you can't find something or have any issues, just let me know. What I like is, so I like the View tab. So one, you can choose kind of how you want to see things. So different people like different things. You can kind of do everything in terms of like dragging stuff around. I think that works really nice. There's also like a notes page where you can add notes and a reading view and stuff like that. I don't really like reading view, to be completely honest. Let's see, I need to jump out of that, which I think I might have said escape. I'll go out. So I like the normal view or maybe even the outline view. Just because I think it's easy. And then the big thing is this slide master. So if you're trying to make slides that are universal, at least even in just a logo or a background or something like that, it's awesome to start here. So if you click on it, it takes you into this slide master. For some reason, it always kind of starts down. I always edit up here. So this is the slide master. Whereas if I were to update these bullets or anything like that, it updates on every single slide in that theme. And so like if I wanted maybe a universal image or something like that, or if I wanted page numbers, I could move these things around and it would be whoever kind of, or whatever it kind of would be consistent across. And so it's kind of up to you. Again, I might bring in a picture of, so Bank of America or Club Corp or something like that if you were building it. And you could do it within just these. So this is just within a slide that you build of that different type. And so you can make maybe each different layout a different type of background. But if you want them on all, you could do something like this. And then I'm going to bring in a picture. I know you all might be tired of seeing this, but maybe I'll bring in a picture of Pearl, something like that. And you'll notice everything in the background is now all Pearl, right? And maybe I don't want this up front. You can right click and you have these options: send to front, send to back. That's kind of how you get it. You can edit the size and the location and things like that. So I might send this to the back and then I have all my text in the front. Some people do it where maybe they'd rather, like, instead of a picture, they could enter like a shape and then get a color scheme that they really like. And so you could do insert a shape and then you can kind of draw a box maybe. Maybe you like something like this. I'm going to just kind of match it. And then you have all these options. So we're U of A, so I might as well stick with U of A colors. And so I'll do maybe a dark black, or dark blue there. And then I'll right click and then I'll send it to the back. And then I probably wouldn't want a text box to ever go in here unless I'm using like white text or something. So I could adjust it up, and now every slide I create is going to have that. And you can always kind of move these things around if you want. Maybe you just want like maybe blue here. And once you do this, you can copy and paste and then maybe move one up here, and maybe we'll make this one red. So I'll line it there, and then I'll do like the U of A red, and then again we want to send to back. And then you can like align these kind of boxes, so like maybe your titles are always just up here, and then again that's way too large, so I might do something like home, and then I don't know, let's do 24. That's too small. Let's do 30, and then maybe make it white or something like that. Right? And then over here, like so that could be your title, and then you have the extra text. Again, it's entirely up to you. You can kind of play around with it, but you'll know like when you do it, like it tries to adapt them all. Then if you want to close the slide master, you've got to go to the slide master tab, which is new. And again, there are a bunch of other things you can change. I'm just scratching the surface here, but you can close the view, and then you'll see every slide those changes have been applied to. So you don't have to do it for every single one, which is really, really nice. And I'm going to let you all be as creative as possible there. Some things that I have seen that have been really nice are like slide numbers. Also, like if you have like people that you want to speak, you could put their name. And so you could do insert, and then you have this either date and time, slide number. So if you did slide number, you can kind of select, well, okay, I want the slide number, and then you could do apply to all. Maybe I don't want it on the first slide because it's my title slide. So hopefully you saw that slide number, and then don't do this. You can add a footer here where it's just going to have my name. And to edit this, instead of doing it every single time, like maybe you're saying like, hey, I want this a lot bigger, you could go again back into view, and then where's our slide master? So slide master. And then here, it just has number because it's going to auto update for us. And make sure you're working on the first one. I've made that mistake a lot. Maybe I want it to be a little bit bigger, and sometimes I gotta be clicking on it, and then I might make this, I don't know, that's too small. Let's do 14. Let's make this one white, and then maybe I'll center it or something like that. And I haven't played around with this that much. It used to be where I could put like a little dash here and put like speaker name, but I haven't kind of seen that pop up yet. You could also do the date if you want. I don't really know why people would do the date, but you can if you want. It doesn't matter to me. So then slide master, get rid of this. And then it doesn't have the name. See, maybe someone else is smarter than I that it's kind of figured that out. But it does auto update. So like this one, let's say I did later on, I selected like, okay, gray is going to talk about this slide. I could have it like that, which is really nice. And then if I move this, note, it auto updates the slide number, so I don't have to kind of keep going back and manually doing that, which is really nice. And it's just like it kind of keeps you in order if you really want it. Yeah, you could do the same thing with dates. You do the same thing with times. I don't think I like the time or the name here. What you could do is maybe for your company. So again, I could go to review and then, or not review, view, slide master. And it's just so you don't have to keep doing it. Maybe this would be your client name. So again, I might change it to home. I'm going to do white and bold, and I'll do, I don't know, pearls, premium grass, something like that. And then like, you know, the company, and see, I made the mistake. I only changed it down here. And so that's only when we create a new slide like this is this going to be on the bottom, which that doesn't make any sense. So I'm just going to copy that, and I'll go to the very top, which is my master. Paste it. I still want this to be bold and white. Okay, so slide master, and then I'll exit that. All right, and why is Gray Hunter still on there? View. Slide master. Huh. Should update automatically on there. Here. Interesting. Maybe because I changed it down here first, so I might have to go down. It doesn't make any sense though, because it should be at the very top. Which maybe again, you're kind of smarter than I, or maybe I messed it up by going inside of it. I started adjusting it, which is not really what we want. All right, so I won't make changes. I'll let you all do that. Let's see. So different sections. A lot of this is just organization, and then you can link back to slides. And so like you'll note I have this little section over here that has introduction and agenda. I had to add that. And so if you want different sections like introduction and then maybe statistical model or something like that, you can add that. It's pretty easy. You could go to the home, and then if you're on the home tab and you're clicked on the slide, you could do section and add a section and say something like, well, this is the agenda section, agenda, which is really nice. And then everything under that goes into that section. And so maybe when you're done with one, you can click on the left and be like, all right, I'm done with the agenda. And it changes the view a little bit too on the the slide sorter page, where it'll put each section on its own line forcibly, unless there's like more than your screen can handle. But it has it again, kind of agenda, where you can kind of do those and close it. Okay, so let's see, I'll go to the view tab, and then I want to go back to the normal view. Okay, something like that. So it just makes it nice. And then later on, especially when you're using the titles, we say like, please use the equation editor, relevant findings, and avoid screenshots in it. But if you had maybe an appendix, so if I right-clicked instead of insert and then do add section, and I'll title this the appendix, you could have this maybe as something like, instead of labeling it here, because each title has its own slide, you'd be like, figure 1, I'm going to say picture of Pearl. You could have like Excel regression table. Again, it would never make it in the report. It's just if someone wanted to see it. And so I could go get that picture, and I'll bring Pearl in here again, and maybe put her, and she's way too big. Avoid pixelation. So you should never drag this way on an image, right? It looks terrible. Right? So what you should do is, and most of the time this works, you want to grab from a corner and go, I notice that it won't let me go just up or down or left or right. That keeps the aspect ratio locked. And so this image will not be pixelated. And so I can have that and it still looks crisp. I don't love the jagged corners. Anytime you have an image or a picture, something like this will pop up, and you have a ton of options, way too many for me to talk about. You could crop it if you wanted to, if you didn't like it. You could change the effects where maybe you want a shadow or reflection. But for the borders, what I generally do is I like the picture styles. It's kind of like the word training for styles, but it's like some auto borders that you can kind of look at, and it's kind of up to you. Like these just look a little bit cleaner than this terrible look like that. And I'm just hovering over to kind of highlight. I kind of like this one, like the soft oval. And then once you get to there, you can still mess with the border, change the layout and stuff like this. I don't know why I would try and put Pearl in a description box. And then jumping kind of away, notice that this is new to PowerPoint, right? Design ideas, where it'll design completely different slides based upon an image that you have in here. So maybe you don't want to go with a consistent theme all the time, and you're like, I really like the design ideas. And there are literally hundreds of these. Like you just keep clicking, right, going through. I would generally get my text set up first and then bring in an image, because then you'll know like what your slide needs to do. And sometimes you have to modify it and things like that, but it's really not a big deal. And these look really, really nice. And some of them are in the same theme that we've been using. And so that's just like a cool thing you may want to think about. It makes it a little bit harder to link to the picture. So if you just wanted to link to this back in the report, where maybe you had like, maybe here you had variable descriptions, but for us, I'm going to link to Pearl. So link to, so you have like your text, and then you could have like a small thing that says link to full output or something like that. And you can link directly to that slide. So if you highlight, it's just like before. You can also hyperlink to like Tableau Public online stuff if you want, or any other links. But if you go to right click and link, I think you can do the same thing like insert and link right here. So either one works, you get to kind of the same thing. And then you just say place in the document, and each slide title has it. So you're like, hey, figure 1 of Pearl. Do okay. Make sure, again, just like before, you don't want to be in the middle of a presentation and then go look here, and then you're like, all right, well, I'm done. And you're like, well, how do I get back? You have to scroll. So save the reader a little bit of that. Maybe you insert like a little text box here that says something like, click to, I don't know, or something like return to slide or something like that, where you can kind of hide it, or maybe you italicize it and make it slide, but then it's easy. You don't have to bookmark like you do in Word. You can just link and then link it back to, I think we said it was the data overview. And yep. And then you're just gonna right click or control click and you're up in there. And then when you're playing it or you submit it as a PDF or anything like that, it's easy. But that's for more like when you're in person and people have questions, just kind of a general tip. Basic animations, yeah, if you don't want to see, so you can always preview this thing. So if you do slideshow from current slide, it's just like, all right, this is nice. You can have it animate in. So sometimes it helps keep people awake during a presentation. Hopefully on a 5-minute one, it's not that big. Most people just recommend on the animations tab, appear or fade, right? Because they're like the simplest and most straightforward. And you get kind of a hint. You can change the timing. Like maybe I want this to be a little slower, so I'll do 1.5 seconds. And then I'll do slideshow from current slide. And then when I do it, it just fades in a little slower. That was probably way too slow, to be honest, but it's up to you. Like you can play with that. It can get kind of distracting if you're doing all sorts of stuff, like things are flying in everywhere. So generally, I recommend kind of being consistent. Just whatever you do. You can do some emphasis. You can put multiple actions where you have this image go in and then it leave. So if I right clicked here and then I said, I believe it's add animation and then an exit, you could have maybe, let's do shrink and turn, and it'll preview that. And then something a lot of people don't know is this animation pane. It has the order of them. And so green star, come in, red star, go away. So slideshow from the current slide. And then I hit the space bar, it comes in. And then the next action, hit the space bar, and it goes away. All right, so can be useful. Again, I'm just trying to show you as many tricks as possible that I've kind of learned. When you get a lot of images coming in and going out, but the actual slide can look a little clunky. So just be careful not to overdo it there if you ever do it. Yeah, so really that's all there really is with animations. I mean, you could spend days if you're clicked on this thing and you can paint around. You can set it up as auto if you want. Note that this is now labeled blue to let me know, oh, there's multiple animations. Let's see. Design ideas. I already talked about that one. So that's when you bring in a picture and then you can just do, if you go to the design tab, you've got this design ideas. I don't like the stock ones. They look terrible. I like to bring in pictures and like then it has this one set up and and you can do this honestly, like maybe you're thinking of having your professional screenshots in here, add everyone's picture and then do design idea. And sometimes it recognizes and it might fill these 3 circles. And it keeps the animation, like I just saw Pearl kind of come in and head out. Maybe like a timeline, like, hey, there's Pearl, bye Pearl, and she goes away. Okay, let's see, back up to the agenda. Dealing with bullets and lists and then recording. Yeah, so if you ever have lists, something that frustrates people is when they get to here and they're like, how do I get, and especially if you're in like a multiple list, you're like, you have like a bunch of things, and you're like, all right, how do I want to do this? Or how do I want to make sure that everything's spaced up correctly? And they get here and they're like, well, damn, right? It's off the line. And they're like, all right, I can delete and then hit enter and then go in. If you know that going out to the right is just tab, right? Tab just keeps going down the list. And if you remember, if we go into view, slide master, it's first level, second level, third level, fourth level. And so same thing, right? So every time hitting tab, it's just going down a level. And you can change these different fonts. Honestly, I don't like bullets being all the same. So I might go to home and then you'll see that this is bulleted. I might select, I don't know, an open one for the second one. And then the third one, I might have a different shape, something like, maybe a square or something. You can change the color of these. So if you click on the bullets and formatting, right, you can change the color, you can customize. I guess it looks like I could make Pearl a picture or make her a bullet. That's too far, Gray. So I'm not going to do that. And then if you don't like, and again, you don't have to do this in the slide master. You can do it on any slide, and I'll show you. If you don't like where these are lined up, you should see this grid bar at the top. If not, go to View and tab the ruler. So check the ruler. You may want grid lines. That helps people center things. You may want guides. I don't usually use them. I use the ruler most of the time. And then if I want to move this, well, I can move the whole thing by clicking on the very bottom and dragging and moving. If I just want the distance between here changed, I can first, I'm going to have to move this out and then move the top one in. So it just buys me more space, which is really nice. I like the slide master because then when I do it here, it updates on all the other slides, and you'll see, like, look at how much further these are now out. And you can always adjust it back for individual ones. Like maybe you're like, maybe not. So I'll do that, something like there. For here, if I want to get it back to like a different level, instead of hitting tab, if you hold shift and then hit tab, it will go into the left, right? And you'll note my bullets are now changing because I'm on level 3 or level 2. So this was level 3, this is level 2, and then shift tab back to level 1. And it always goes back to what we have set up in the master. And so that is really nice. Again, making sure your bullets are kind of clean and lined up. So I might do something like this. And if I don't like it, I might drag this over and then here, maybe drag something like that. So just a way to kind of play around. You can do the exact same thing with numbers instead. You can always do Control A and say, hey, I want these all in numbers. I don't love that it goes here, so you can combo if you just highlight this and click on there. And each individual one, like, you can update if you really want. I like to update the size because I'm always like, that's really too big. So if I go in and I do bullets and numbering, you can change the size to be like, I don't know, 75%. Or maybe, I don't even like that. I might do like, I don't know, 60%. Again, I'd be careful about doing that on a normal slide. I would do it in the slide master again, so everything is consistent and you don't have to manually do it over and over and over. Let's see. Yeah, so recording is relatively easy. And it's going to try and give me some hints, and it won't even give me the leave me alone button. But like, you can go through, and there's a couple different ways. You can record audio. You can do like from the beginning. So I'll click on here. If I go through, and there's options over on my other screen, you can't see it, where I could like turn on my camera. And so you can kind of, you can't see me, but here, I'll swap this. So if you go to view, if you ever are on the wrong screen, you should be able to tell it, let's see, where is it? Where is the, don't want record. I want the, let's see, home. Oh, slideshow, Doug, right? So I can change the primary monitor. If you've somehow automatically set up timing or narrations, you may want to turn those off. It's up to you. Like, that's just like some of the timing that goes through. I don't ever use that because I just click with a clicker or my thing. And then I have 3 monitors, so I might change it to be, well, I want this, like the actual, when I'm presenting it, to be on monitor 2. And then when I go to record, right, now you're seeing hopefully what I'm seeing. And so if you choose this route and you want to talk, please make sure you're dressed in professional attire. I like this one for pre-recorded because then you can see the notes up here. So you can write kind of exactly what you want to say. And then it's gonna, I obviously would record the full presentation, which I can only see over here on my second screen. And so that's pretty cool. You can do record. I would be just very careful in terms of recording. So if you somehow like stumble and you're going to have to re-record, that's perfectly fine. It's just later on, if you then have to re-record over it, as soon as you're recording mode and you go to the next slide, it's going to overwrite what you had. And so honestly, what I learned to do during COVID was I would insert just a blank slide. So this is right before I record, right? Because you'll build it and then you'll record it. Just do a blank slide of like, this is just blank for, I don't know, final recording presentation. That way, like if you're saying, oh, I stumbled in slide 3, I need to go back and re-record that. You don't accidentally go onto the agenda and then over-record what you already had, right? And I only know that because I've done it like 10 times. And so right before the final presentation, right, you're recording it, and then at the end, you're just going to delete all of these. And then once you're done, for the Adobe person that might want to use it is you can do home, let's see, not home, slideshow, and then there should be record. And you can save as a show. You can also export it to video so someone can take it into Adobe Rush or a editing software and maybe add video or stuff like that. I think there's still, yeah, on the slideshow, you also had the record button. I haven't ever played with rehearse with a coach or anything. You can if you want. That's entirely up to you. Looks like there's a coach popping up on my screen. I don't really want that. Yeah, and that's kind of it. So please just make sure it looks professional. Be creative, right? We're not kind of insane sticklers about that. Like we want you to get the message across to whoever your audience is, and we hopefully made your life a little bit easier. Again, I would link, like if you ever want to talk about data, just to be safe in the future, what you might do is have your data linked in the appendix. That way, if anyone ever wants to see it, you just go down there and show them. And all right, well, you wasted my time, so I'm going to go back to that slide, which this is not currently working. Let's see, maybe not. Did I delete the slide? Can I do edit? Oh yeah, I must have gotten rid of the link. So link it back to wherever we want it, key takeaways. And then yeah, when you hover over it, it says hold control and click to go over there. All right, so I hope this was helpful. Again, it's just to get you started, show you all the tricks. I'm sure there are hundreds of other things in here I've never like played around with. You can change, like you can see all the different slides that you can present and all of that. I have no idea what dictate is. I like the design ideas. It makes things look a lot nicer. I think this honestly is it catching up to Canva or Google Slides, stuff like that. But yeah, if you're into questions, just let us know.